Yes guys, so I wanted to go live, but you have to give thanks, you know, it could be worse. You know? Yeah. So we just have to hope for a better day so I can get to show you guys really what this beekeeping all about and the apiary and all these things. But unfortunately, it's snowing, you know. This thing is beyond our control. Yeah. That's how it is. Part of Canadian harsh winter, right? Very cold outside, and there's light flurries going on. So what else to do, you know? Sit back and relax, drink a cup of honey. Yeah, honey mixed with something, some kind of tea, you know? Yeah. So it is. This is all part of Canadian harsh winter. Yes guys, it's also important to remember that when it's very cold like this, it's not always good to open unless it's like an emergency and you have to take a look inside or something, you know. That's the only time you will really open a box, cause in weather like this, you have to remember that if it's too cold, they will freeze, right? And like oh, the winter is still going on and it's cold, they're clustered together, and opening the hive will really disrupt that temperature regulation that they have going on for them, right? Because we're going to let in cool air on them and all of that. So it's always good to observe all these things, because this is also part of beekeeping still, you know. Because as I said, in cold temperature, it's never good, right? And typically the best temperature is like anything above 15 degrees Celsius, right? On a warm day, like for instance, if it's like 10, like above 10, or say for instance it's at like 10 degrees, well, you can just make a quick look, check a frame, but not too long, right? But if it's like for instance 4 degrees Celsius, 5 degrees Celsius, you just crack the box and peek in, and that's it. Yeah, and we have to remember that if it's very windy, that can impact have an impact on the weather, the temperature, the weather. So if it's very windy, you know it's going to be much colder. So on a calm day, it's much better. On a sunny day, it's much better, you know. And you have to have a good purpose. Like for instance, if you're going to be opening the hive, you're going to make sure that you're just going to check to see if there's food inside, you know, because within very cold temperature, you're going to make sure that they have enough food, because you don't want them to starve. And if you suspect starvation going on, then you have to do what you have to do. That's the time you open box and check, right? So those are the things you have to think about when really opening a box during cold weather or during times like these when the temperature is very low. And you have to remember that you have to minimize the time, the amount of time that you use when you're opening a box in low temperature, because it will decide if you're gonna have a hive that survive or a hive that's frozen, you know. So those are the things you have to consider still. And like it's a very cold day today, it's not ideal for me to be opening boxes and show you guys what I wanted to show you still. So really and truly we have to save these things for another day. So now we just have to really look and just understand and observe. So today is more of an observation day, you know. Observation, yeah man. Yeah, we also have to remember inside the box when it's cold, the bees form like a tight cluster, right? And that's how they generate heat and conserve heat, right? And the queen is in the center of that, while the worker bees around her, they're vibrating their bodies to produce that warmth, right? So for us to disrupt that cluster in cool weather, it is very harmful, and it forces the bees to expand, and basically they lose that precious energy that they have, that they add, and then they have to start all over again to produce new energy to bring the hive under a stable temperature, right? Because remember I told you about the bees form like a tight cluster, right? And that's how they generate heat and conserve heat, right? And the queen is in the center of that, while the worker bees around her, they're vibrating their bodies to produce that warmth, right? So for us to disrupt that cluster in cool weather, it is very harmful, and it forces the bees to expand, and basically they lose that precious energy that they have, that they add, and then they have to start all over again to produce new energy to bring the hive under a stable temperature, right? Because remember I told you about temperature regulation, right? And that's one of the main things that they use, and disrupting that can be very harmful even to the eggs and the larva, you know. So really and truly we just have to observe them. And as I said, for me, anything under 5 degrees is not very good to open, and the best temperature to open the box is like above 15 degrees Celsius. That way you will see bees flying out like they're hunting or doing their foraging. That's the best time to check, you know. But anything in between, it's like only if necessary in an emergency. Yeah man. Yeah, also, you know, so if you are in doubt and you're not sure, it's better to just leave them until you realize that yeah, it's a good day. Because if you use curiosity and open the box, you know, you may destroy their well-being, because they lose all that energy that they're working so hard to save. It's not like you can just pump some warm air inside for them, you know. So it's always good to think about them too, you know, unless it's like a must emergency, you know, then they do it quickly. You have to do it quick. That means in and out, you know. Yeah man, we have to think about the little creatures, you know, those little insects, you know, they're working so hard to produce such gold, so we have to really take care of them, right? Yeah man. So this is just my 2 cents still as a beekeeper, and I've been doing it for so long, so this is a good thing. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. You know, like, share and subscribe, and click the notification bell, yes, so that way when I'm live you'll see, so that you can get to learn something, you know. Because I'll try to break it down and show you as much as I can, so that you can become the best beekeeper you can, you know. Because it's a nice thing, and as I said, bees is good for the environment. It's good for us, you know. It's good for pollination. There's lots of goodness, plus the honey and all the byproducts from them, waxes and all these stuff. So yeah, so just give a thumbs up, and thank you again.